What's up, guys? Welcome to this video on Elvis is the Man. So I want to answer the question and tackle the topic, why didn't Elvis perform while in the service? The answer is pretty simple. Elvis just didn't want to draw extra attention to himself. He didn't want to cause jealousy between him and his fellow soldiers. Elvis had the option of having it actually very easy because he was a celebrity. He didn't take it. He wanted to be just like all the other soldiers and to work just as hard as they did. He wanted no special treatment and wanted to be treated like every other soldier. For example, there was one time he hurt his knee while on duty. He was rounding a corner and was thrown from his Jeep. Now, this wasn't told to the press, so that's why none of us really know it. It was kept quiet, but he was ordered 3 days bed rest. Another time, Elvis passed out from carbon monoxide poisoning while on overnight watch. So he was roughing it just like every other soldier. He cared about his country. He was very patriotic, as we know, and he just wanted to serve. The only type of special treatment Elvis did get was he was allowed to stay off base with his dependents. Now, his dependents were Vernon and his grandmother, Minnie Mae. Now, obviously, his mother would have been in that mix, but unfortunately, she passed away in August, the year Elvis was drafted. Elvis did want that family comfort, that family nurturing. He got very homesick, so that was actually very good for him. His, emotions and mentalities to have his mom and his dad and his grandma, to stay with him. Here's another thing. Elvis was very well acquainted with jealousy. He knew what it was like. He always had to deal, even as maybe a late teenage years, he had to deal with jealous boyfriends, angry their girlfriend was obsessed with him, especially when he got famous. So that's one of the reasons why Elvis took up karate while in the Army. He actually started to study it then. Let me give you another example, a more specific example. In early 1959, there was a representative from the German film company. He came to the house to try to persuade Elvis to sing just one song for an upcoming production. Elvis told him that he's hesitant to do anything that might lead to resentment on the part of his fellow soldiers. So Elvis was pretty wise in this area. He wanted to stay under the radar, not get special treatment, be treated like any other soldier, and just leave it as that. And Elvis said many times that, he thought that there might be problems between him and he called them the other boys. But once the soldiers saw him, after a few days, a few weeks, just doing everything that they did, they started to come around and be very friendly. And that's what we're seeing in these pictures here. The only time Elvis would perform was for a few friends at his house off base. If you'd have a little party or something like that, he played the piano. And we also know Elvis did make some recordings on a tape recorder of himself on the piano with some friends. There's been a few FTDs made of it, and they're really good recordings. Now, I think he put the recorder a little too close to the piano because sometimes that piano is so loud on those recordings if you've ever heard any. Elvis spent a lot of time, and we have pictures of it, just in his room, listening to records, playing his guitar, and, that's how Elvis passed the time, doing spirituals just like he would after shows in Las Vegas in the 70s. It relaxed him. Now, here's something that some of you guys may not know. The Colonel gave Elvis an idea to set up a tape recorder and record himself with only a piano, as we know he did, but it was for the purpose of releasing it to RCA on some records. The Colonel says that, your fans just want to hear your voice. So just, whatever you want to put together, put it on a tape and we can release it. And Elvis and Colonel kind of hinted to RCA that there might be a special project underway, but for whatever reason, that never matured, that never came to fruition, that idea. But we do have those records, FTDs, CDs of Elvis at home on the piano. And we know that actually Elvis was working on songs and gaining ideas for his comeback album, Elvis is Back, in 1960. So I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of Elvis history. This video, these pictures here were taken in November 1928. November 28th, 1958, a lot of eights in there. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Hit the like button if you have, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you guys next time.